Join me as I dive into the shocking truth about General Motors selling your driver data to insurers and see if I can uncover the real impact it has on us. Hi, I'm Leslie Walker. Welcome to Q's Fleet News, the place where you get your fleet news in 7 minutes. Privacy is a fundamental right, and it's becoming increasingly important in today's digital age. But what if I told you that one of the biggest automakers in the world, General Motors, is secretly selling your driver data to insurance companies? Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, it's not a conspiracy theory, it's sadly true. And in this video, we're going to dig deeper into this disturbing practice and see what it means for you, the consumer. In recent years, there's been a growing trend of automakers collecting data from our vehicles. And it's not just limited to General Motors. Many other car manufacturers are doing the same. This data can include everything from your location and speed to your braking habits and acceleration. And while this data might be used to improve our driving experiences, there's a darker side to it. The implications of this data collection are far-reaching, and they raise serious concerns about our privacy. Who has access to this data, and how is it being used? These are questions that we need to start asking ourselves, because the truth is, our personal data is no longer truly private. And with General Motors selling this data to insurance companies, it's clear that our privacy is being compromised for the sake of profit. In the next few minutes, we're going to dive deeper into the details of this shocking practice and explore what it means for you, the consumer. From the specifics of the data being sold to the potential consequences for your insurance rates, we're going to cover it all. So, buckle up and let's get started. General Motors has been collecting data from its vehicles since 2017. And this data includes everything from your GPS location to your vehicle's performance metrics. And according to recent reports, this data is being sold to insurance companies who are using it to determine your premium rates. But that's not all. This data is also being used to track your driving habits and to identify potential risks. And if you're deemed to be a high-risk driver, you could be facing higher insurance premiums. The insurance companies involved in this practice include big names like Progressive and State Farm. And while they claim that this data is being used to provide more accurate insurance quotes, there are serious concerns about how this data is being used. Are you being penalized for driving habits that are outside of your control? Are you being discriminated against based on your location or demographics? This practice raises so many questions, and it's clear that General Motors is not being transparent about how this data is being used. In fact, when confronted about this practice, General Motors refused to comment, saying only that they take customer privacy seriously. But the facts tell a different story. The implications of this practice are far-reaching, and they go beyond just insurance rates. This data could be used to track your movements, to monitor your behavior, and to build a detailed profile of your driving habits. And once this data is out there, it's impossible to get it back. In a world where data is the new currency, it's clear that our personal data is being exploited for profit. And with General Motors leading the charge, it's clear that we need to take action to protect our privacy. This practice is not just limited to General Motors. Many other automakers are doing the same. And it's not just limited to insurance companies. Our data is being sold to anyone who is willing to pay. This is a wake-up call, folks. Our privacy is under attack, and it's time we start fighting back. As Jeff Chester, the executive director of the Center for Digital Democracy, recently stated, the use of driver data by insurers is a prime example of how the digital economy is based on the exploitation of personal information. And he's right. Our personal data is being exploited for profit, and it's time we take back control. In an interview with an affected driver, he stated, I had no idea that my driving data was being sold to insurance companies. I feel violated, and I'm not sure what I can do to stop it. This is just one example of the many drivers who are unaware of what's happening with their data. And it's time we start talking about it. The real question is, what can we do to protect our privacy in a world where data is being exploited for profit? Do we need stricter laws to regulate the use of personal data? Do we need to hold companies like General Motors accountable for their actions? These are questions that we need to start asking ourselves. So, what can you do to protect your privacy? First, be aware of what's happening with your data. Read the fine print and ask questions. Second, demand transparency from companies like General Motors. And finally, support organizations that are fighting to protect our privacy. Join the conversation and share your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Q's Fleet News, the place where you get your fleet news in 7 minutes. I'm Leslie Walker. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.